For tens of thousands of years, the most dangerous predator around human camps wasn't a lion or a bear. It was the wolf. And yet today, that same animal sleeps on couches, wears birthday hats, and waits by the door just to hear your keys. That shift didn't come from training. It didn't come from planning. It happened by accident, and in ways humans didn't even notice. It started with scraps in the dark, fear at the edge of firelight, and a few wolves that were just slightly less afraid than the rest. And that small difference would eventually rewrite the entire history of both species. To understand how it happened, you have to go back roughly 30,000 years to a world that looks almost nothing like ours. Humans lived in small roaming bands of 20-50 people, surviving harsh Ice Age conditions where injury, hunger, or winter could end a group. And at the edge of every camp, just beyond the firelight, wolves were watching. Human camps left behind bones, scraps, and leftovers that became an easy food source. To a wolf, a human campsite was essentially a moving buffet of free calories. And that created a very interesting problem for the wolves. The aggressive wolves that came too close were killed. The fearful ones that stayed far away missed the food. But somewhere in those populations, a small number of wolves were different. They were calmer, less reactive, more willing to hang around the edges of human activity without immediately attacking or fleeing. And those wolves discovered something extraordinary. Being slightly less terrified of humans was an incredible survival strategy. So generation after generation, the bolder wolves ate better. The calmer wolves reproduced more. The hyper-aggressive ones died. And slowly, without any human involvement whatsoever, wolf populations living near human camps began shifting in personality. Evolution was quietly doing something that nobody had asked it to do. When animals become less aggressive over generations of selective pressure, their bodies change. Scientists actually watch this happen in real time. In 1959, Soviet scientist Dmitry Belyaev ran an experiment where he bred foxes by selecting only the least aggressive individuals each generation. He did not train them. He did not teach them anything. He simply chose the calmest foxes and let them reproduce. Within decades, the foxes started behaving like dogs. They wagged their tails, they licked hands, they sought human attention. But their bodies changed too in ways nobody fully expected. Their ears went floppy, their snouts shortened, their coats developed patches, their tails curled upward. Somehow, selecting for calmness also rewired their entire physical appearance. Scientists call this the domestication syndrome, and it almost certainly happened to ancient wolves too. Back at those Ice Age campsites, humans started noticing something useful about the calmer wolves hanging nearby. Wolves hear things before humans do. They can smell predators from enormous distances. They track prey through landscapes in ways that human senses simply cannot match. A wolf loitering near camp was basically a living, breathing alarm system. If bears approached, the wolves reacted first. If strangers appeared, the wolves noticed. If prey animals were nearby, the wolves already knew. Once humans figured out that these animals were genuinely useful, the relationship accelerated rapidly. Dogs are the oldest domesticated animal in human history. They were living alongside humans before sheep, before goats, before farming, before metal tools, before the pyramids. The partnership predates almost everything humans consider civilization. And as civilization changed, dogs changed with it. When humans invented agriculture and started eating more grain, dogs gradually evolved to digest starch far more effectively than wolves ever could. They were literally rewriting their own biology to stay alongside us as our lifestyle shifted. That kind of deep biological adaptation does not happen casually. It happens when two species have been intertwined long enough that their survival genuinely depends on each other. But the most remarkable part of this story is not the physical changes. It is the emotional ones. When a human stares into a dog's eyes, both the human and the dog release oxytocin. That is the same bonding hormone involved when parents look at their newborn children. Wolves do not do this with humans. Dogs do. Evolution specifically shaped dogs to emotionally connect with human brains in a way that feels almost engineered for friendship. Dogs even developed facial muscles that wolves lack entirely, muscles that allow them to make expressions that humans instinctively respond to with warmth and protectiveness. The famous puppy dog eyes are real, and they may have spread through dog populations simply because humans were more likely to feed and care for animals that looked emotionally expressive. Cuteness, it turns out, is a powerful survival tool across multiple species. And here is the part that genuinely stops people cold. Archaeologists in Germany uncovered a grave from around 14,000 years ago containing a man, a woman, and a dog, carefully buried together. The dog had survived a severe illness as a puppy, which means humans had almost certainly nursed it through weeks of sickness during a period when feeding yourself was already an enormous challenge. These were Ice Age people struggling against starvation and predators and brutal winters, and they still spent precious resources keeping a sick dog alive. That is not utility. That is something much closer to love. The entire story began with scraps tossed near a fire, a handful of unusually calm wolves deciding that human camps were worth the risk, and evolution slowly doing what evolution always does, rewarding whatever works. There was no grand design. There was no ancient inventor of dogs. There was just a long, slow, accidental partnership that turned the most feared predator in the prehistoric world into an animal that now sleeps at the foot of your bed and loses its mind when you pick up a leash. Every breed on Earth today, from the towering Great Dane to the absurdly small Chihuahua, traces back to those first wolves brave enough to creep a little closer to the fire. And tonight, whatever dog is currently in your life is carrying forward a friendship that started tens of thousands of years before either of you existed, which is either deeply beautiful or a lot of pressure for a Tuesday evening.